So hello friends, as you know, I'm the Aashish right from the Lifeway. This is the first time I'm coming in front of the camera because I wanted to do these 8 pen questions which is running around in the Fountain Pen community. And today we have a Fountain Pen Enthusiast who has a collection that we are going to see now. And here we have Mr. Tomas. He's also the owner of Paizley pen rolls, and he has brought his pen collection here as well, and then he's going to answer all our 8 pen questions along with some of the other questions that we have to ask him. Welcome to the channel. Thomas.
Hello Aashish, nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you.
A little bit about myself. Yes, I am a fountain pen enthusiast. I got my first one back in, I think it was about 10 years, I was about 10 years old. Okay. It was given to me as a present by my parents. It was a Parker fountain pen, ballpoint and pencil set.
Frontier?
No,
not Frontier.
Not even Jota. I have not, it's a variation on a Jota, okay. But it's not the Jota as we know it. And I'll be honest, I haven't come across that specific design since then.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had the fountain pen stolen because I was using it and whatever. So subsequent to me starting work, I started recollecting fountain pens, mostly Parkers at the time, because that's what I could get my hands.
Yeah, correct.
That's what I could get my hands on. Partly because, well, finances, but there wasn't as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. As far as I know, there wasn't a huge variation. You had your Mont Blancs, sure. At the time, I didn't even think of them.
Okay.
Too far out of my price range. Watermans, I didn't know anything about them.
Schaefer.
There were Schaefers, there was Parker. That was about the extent of it. In South Africa, at least. And so I bought a couple of Parkers when I started working, but for the most part, I was relaxed about it. And then back in 2013, okay. I bought a Lamy All-Star.
Okay. Which color?
Burnt orange.
Okay.
And, well, mainly because I like orange. And I loved it.
And it has a cold touch to it as well, because it's made of aluminium and it feels cold when you are writing with it, right? Because it has an aluminium body and it's a little bit heavier than the Safari.
Correct. The aluminium body, like you correctly say, is heavier. I like the feel of it. I like the color of it. I like the way it writes. And I still got it.
I still feel that this Lamy All-Star is similar to what we have for metallic cars in our cars that have metallic colors.
Yes.
Lamy All-Star has those metallic colors in
Correct.
that.
And since then, I think I have, must be, well, it's 2 pen rolls, 2 10-pocket pen rolls fulls and more. So that's over 20 of them.
Of All-Star?
Of All-Star only.
Oh, wow.
And again, because of the different shades, you know, Lamy are very sneaky and clever and nasty when they do that. They bring out a new color every year.
Correct.
Or 2, like they've done recently.
Yeah. Yes, 2 colors, and sometimes we don't even get them in South Africa. Or they are sold out if you're not
fast enough.
Yes, fast enough, and you haven't made your mind that you are going to buy this one.
Correct. So my collection, well, if I've got 20 and I've only been doing it for 10 years, yes, I have gone back and bought a few extras.
Cool. So let's start with our 8 pen questions. So as you've already told that when and how did your fountain pen journey started? So you've already talked about that it started when you got a Parker. So during when I was in India, we also in our school as well, we used to write with the fountain pens. It was compulsory till grade 6.
Oh wow.
So then you have to use fountain pen. And then India has a lot of cheap writing instrument companies that you get fountain pens for as cheap as R1 or something of that sort.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you get the ink bottle which is around 2 ZAR or something of that sort. Then you keep filling and then keep writing, because you have to write all the exams and everything using that pen. And Parker was one of the pens that I aspired. And then during my adulthood, I only bought Parker Vector. That Parker Vector is still with me and still writing.
I have to say the Parker Vector, I like it. in that, I told you I had a couple of Parkers stolen.
Yes.
I had the original Vector, one of the original ones, where the section where you hold it was a little bit longer, and I have to say, I do miss it. I've got the newer version, where the section is shorter, less partial to it, but I still love the Parkers to write with.
And then they have made the sides as metal, and then the body is plastic in between. The barrel is plastic. So the second question of the 8 pen questions is favorite ink in the beginning, and what's your go-to ink now?
Well, given that I started with Parkers, I could only get cartridges at the time. I didn't know about bottled ink.
Okay.
When I started working, yes, I discovered bottled ink, and I had a choice of 3 colors: black, blue, red. In Parker.
In Parker Quink.
Parker Quink.
Okay.
There we go. But then I happened to stumble into a stationery shop I didn't know before, and I discovered Schaefer inks. Okay. And then I had maybe 1 or 2 more colors. I had the
brown.
Green, I had a green, and they had a beautiful antique gold. Okay. I still got that bottle, and it still writes beautifully. And I have to say, the bottles were perfect. They had a little section in them where you could actually tilt and fill up from that little section, so that they designed that perfectly. I don't know why they stopped, but probably cost.
Some of the other manufacturers has the same kind of bottle now.
Yes. Correct. So that's where I started with. And
today, what now do you like?
Well, because one of the reasons why I like using fountain pens is because I have a choice of what color to use. Correct. I'm not restricted. So I have a lot of ink.
Oh, okay.
And it goes, so I have a big selection of ink.
This diary is almost full.
Well, funny enough, I've actually started a new one because I'm trying to this is a TWSBI notebook, which is, again, something that is not available anymore. Okay.
So people won't know even that we used to make notebooks.
Yep, correct. You do not find it. So I do not have a favorite ink per se that I want to use, but one of the inks that is really special for me is actually the J. Harban special edition. Okay. And one of the big reasons for that is that my very first bottles my wife bought me, and she bought them in Paris when she went on a business trip. And so she brought me back the originals, and there was the first 3 that came out that were available. Okay. The Stormy Grey, the Blue Ocean, the Rouge Hematite. Wow. And just after that, Right Gear got the Emerald de Chivaux. Okay. So those were my first 4
in your adulthood when you after getting married, because you said that your wife brought it for you.
Yes. So these are my first 4 that really I have a very soft spot for, but I use them only to write on special occasions. Okay.
And do you match your fountain pen body with the ink color as well, or?
No. I find, because I want to use the pen, I want to use whatever pen I want. I try and, like I showed you the ink journal, I actually try and rotate the pens that I use, and similarly the ink I use in the pens. Okay. For obvious reasons, anything with a shimmer in it, I will restrict to a dip and use situation. Okay. Correct. Because otherwise the shimmer aspect can
destroy
clog the feed, if nothing else. Excuse me. So I try to restrict the shimmer inks to a dip situation. But to ink up a pen, I'll use whichever one I want.
And do you like sheen or shimmer, or which category of inks do you like the most?
I have both, shimmers and sheens. Like I said, shimmer I will use only as a dip situation. But I've inked up pens with a sheen. Again, just to have something bit more different.
Keep on changing.
make it interesting for myself.
And since started using the Parker pens, how has your ink and pen taste changed over time?
Well, seeing as we were just talking about ink, when I first started with fountain pens, the concept of a sheening ink wasn't there. The concept of a shimmering ink wasn't there. So those have been quite interesting additions for me. So those have been great. From a fountain pen point of view, I like a good quality pen. I want a pen that works. I want to be able to take it with me, use it wherever, and without too much problems occurring. So for me, it's more about the quality of the build, less about the price of it. So one of my favorite pens, funny enough, are the Platinum, Plaisir and Preppy ranges.
Okay.
Very much at the bottom end of the price spectrum, but I found them to be wonderful pens to pick up and use wherever and whenever. So much so that I've actually introduced quite a few people to fountain pens with those pens.
And then because those Platinum, Preppy, everything comes with ink cartridges.
Correct.
Because sometimes the cost of the ink converter is more in Platinum pens. I don't know why.
I think it's with all of them.
Is it with all of them? Okay. So do you prefer the one with the ink cartridge, or you prefer with the one with the ink converters?
For myself, I will always go for converter.
Okay.
Because I have quite a few inks.
Correct.
So if I want to swap them out, I need a converter.
Okay.
But I'll happily use it with the cartridge, no problem.
And amongst all the pens that you have used, which is your favorite brand and which is your Holy Grail pen that you will go back to again and again?
Okay. I do own one or two Sailors. I do own quite a few different pen brands. Funny enough, there are three that stand out for me that I will come back to on a regular basis. Lamy, Pilot, and Platinum.
Okay.
As for a Holy Grail pen, on one of my trips to Malaysia and to Pen Gallery, like I said before, I managed to pick up a Platinum 3776 Makai pen.
Oh, wow.
At a price that I could not refuse.
Wow.
It's the Sending Dragon gold leaf.
So these are those pens, what we call Urushi?
No, this is gold leaf.
Okay.
So this is, as you saw, it's quite well protected. It's one of the only pens I will keep in the box, simply because I do not want to damage this pen.
Oh wow, the nib is awesome, and it comes with the converter. Oh, nice. So have you filled this pen with ink, or?
I have.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I have, but only once or twice.
Okay. And then
it's not my go-to pen for daily use.
But this is your Holy Grail pen that you will, or if you have to sell all other pens and then only keep one, you will keep this one.
Correct, but unfortunately then I won't be using it.
Oh.
So
you have to keep others as well. And which is the brand that you rely mostly on amongst all the pens? But you have mentioned Lamy, Pilot and Platinum. But what about these Italian brands that we are seeing in the market, as well as there are some brands from other like UK and all?
Okay. I do own a Tibaldi, courtesy of Right Gear. I do own a Leonardo, again courtesy of Right Gear, and I find them to actually be very good pens. I like the way they write. I do prefer a fine or an extra fine nib, simply because I like using. Probably a bit weird. I like using moleskin notebooks.
Notebooks, yeah.
Mainly because of the size, but then the paper's not fountain pen friendly.
Correct.
So the fine and extra fine nibs help with that side of things. In terms of Leonardo or Italian pens, I do have a Cult Pens exclusive Visconti or two. I do have a Leonardo, I do have the Tibaldi, and I like the build quality. I'm actually using those three at the moment as part of my inked up pens. I have bought one or two from the UK, the Good Blue pen.
Okay.
It's nice, but I'm not overly impressed with it. But other people may have different views.
And you haven't talked about any of the Mont Blanc. Do you don't like because that's the most fleshier side of?
True, they are very good pens. Cannot dispute that. I do have one problem with them. Because of the way I like using fountain pens, in other words, I like using multiple, being able to choose my ink color.
Correct.
And ink brand to use in a pen. I will not go with a Mont Blanc.
Okay.
Brand new. I might consider a second-hand one, but not brand new, because I do know that if I would use a non-Mont Blanc ink in the Mont Blanc pen, I would void the warranty, and I'm not prepared to do that.
That was a shocker. I didn't knew that there is something of that sort. That's a clause.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mont Blanc, that is part of their terms and conditions for using the pen. Other pen brands are a lot less fussy in that respect.
So do you own any Mont Blanc or no? Oh, you have stayed away from Mont Blanc.
I have stayed away from Mont Blanc.
So the next question is that how many pens do you currently own? So let's make a twist of it, that which is your top brand, and or which brand you have the maximum pens, or the whole range of pens from that particular brand.
Okay, I do not own every pen from every brand.
Okay. Maybe at least the range. Let's say Lemmy has only like 7 or 8 designs of pen. Let's say.
Yes, I do. At last count, which was I think over 200 pens.
Okay.
That's physical pens. I do, however, like I explained to you before, I've got over 20 Lemmy All Stars.
Okay.
So
that will be one pen only.
But that's one pen.
Correct.
So the
one range of pens.
The variety of pens, maybe about 100.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I have quite a few versions of some pens, especially pens that I like using. One of which is, funny enough, the Pilot Preppies.
Okay.
Not the Preppy, the
Metropolitan.
No, not the Metropolitan. The
Pilot
Prera.
Okay.
It was a little bit on the more expensive side, but I've got multiple versions because they have a different nib.
Yeah, and then I think they come in 7 different body colors, and then it is a small pen. It's a small pocket pen.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's on that side. Like the Lemmy Safaris or the All Stars, I've started actually collecting because I like the design, I like using them, and I want to be able to use a different one sometimes. It might not be always inked up, but I will use a different one. So in terms of different types of pens, only about 100, if that.
Okay. And what's your theory regarding buying of a pen, and then how do you like track that this pen is what I have to buy, or this is my go-to pen, or like how do you think, how do you invest your money into buying a pen?
I think very carefully about it.
Okay.
For me, like I said, I do have Platinum Preppies, which are
cheaper. Yeah.
Cheap. When I started buying them,
yes.
I think they were 100 Rand a piece, which was.
And in Japan, I think it's like 50s are.
There we go. Also in Malaysia, they were very, very cheap. So I will happily use them, like I said, because they're good quality, and I know they
will start anytime when you open the cap.
I mean, like I think I showed you, I happened to ink up a...
Wow. Guys, he got a logo of a fountain pen as to when he started using it, when he filled it, when he refilled it, and how many times he has wrote it. So he has the logo of the whole pens. That's a very nice way of keeping the journal and entries of all your fountain pen range. Wow.
So like this pink one here on the side, I've inked up in...
This is a red one. red.
It was actually a pink.
Okay.
Back in early July 2021, and I finally finished it on the 25th of June 2023. And
it was a cartridge.
It was a cartridge, and this is how often I tested to see whether it's still writing, and often it would be uncap, write. No problem. No hard starts, nothing.
My experience with Platinum Prep is not that good, I think, because every time I have to shake it. I think the modern versions, or I'm keeping them. How do you keep your fountain pens? How do you keep it, like in upright position, or you can slope it, or what's the best way to store your fountain pens when you are not writing with it? And if it has the cartridge and everything installed and it has the ink.
Okay, most of my pens are always in a pen roll, Paizley pen roll. And often it's just thrown into my bag.
So it can turn.
It can be upside down. It can be flat. It can be right side up. But when I'm storing them at home, they will be flat.
Flat, lying down.
Lying down.
But I'm talking about the pens which are filled, like which have ink.
Even filled.
Same. And then you don't have any problem opening it up and writing.
Very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes.
I have noticed that there are some pens that are more prone to being a little bit drier.
Okay.
And others that will just write first time.
Wow.
So that's partly why I do the log.
We have talked about Lemmy, that you have Lemmy L-Star. So are you into Quaco as well? Like I have seen people collecting Quaco different.
I do have a couple of Quacos. Okay. Yes. They write fine, but for my hands, I don't like the sport. I will have the
aluminium version,
sport,
or the bronze or the steel.
No, just the aluminium version.
Okay.
I find they are capped. They are a better weight for my hands and what I like using.
Okay.
The normal sport I find is too light and too small.
Okay. And I have also seen in your collection you have diplomats.
Yes.
Those are like US based companies, I think.
German.
And Conklin.
American.
So you have you like those pens as well, or?
I bought them to try them, to use them.
Okay.
So yes, I do have a Monteverde. I do have Conklin.
Homo sapien.
I've got a Visconti. I do have, like I said, Tibaldi, Leonardo.
So which is that brand? If they launch a new pen, you will buy it.
It would only be, funny enough, the Lemmy's All-Star, if they come out with again, because I like to collect it. And any other pen, I do not just jump and buy.
Okay.
I want to see what it's like. I want to have a look and see how well it writes. And I want to, it must be a brand that I've at least thought of and would like to try. You mentioned Diplomat. Funny enough, I bought one on the cheaper side, and I liked it so much I did buy a couple more.
Okay, that's nice.
Funny enough, also aero, a little bit heavier, nice weight in my hand, and writes beautifully.
So do you have a limit on pens or inks in your collection? Is there a number, or is it a feeling, or when will you know that you have reached your maximum?
I'm pretty much at my maximum now. But I think I might have answered that a little bit before.
Okay.
I've got space limitations.
Okay, so based on your space. So do you what do you do with the pens which you're not using anymore, or do you like sell them, or?
Up to now, I have not sold, correct. Okay. But like I also said, I try and rotate. I try and use a different pen every time I ink up.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I
have a journal.
Have a journal. Like here I've got a Twisby. There I've got a Pilot. I was testing a couple of Pilots, so there's 2 or 3 in a row. Here I was using a Parker.
And you said that before you go and buy a pen, you go and check it personally somewhere. So where do you go and check them personally? Because in South Africa, we don't have specialist stores like Pen Gallery you were talking about in Malaysia. Sure. Where do you go and check?
And I think that's probably why I do not venture to brands that I don't know.
Okay.
often I will go to Sandton Stationers if they've got it. Right here, if I'm in Cape Town, I will go there and check, see what they have.
Do they both allow you to bend the nib and then write it down, or how do you?
I would dry test it.
Okay, right. Okay.
I would see how it dries. Dry.
On the paper, it should not scratch or something. Okay.
Correct. Because interestingly enough, I have seen that there have been a couple of Lamy nibs that look almost identical to the original, but are not, and they do not write the same.
Oh, so there is a fake market of Lamy nibs as well.
And it's coming into South Africa, unfortunately, and it's a lot more noticeable on the calligraphy nibs as opposed to some of the more general nibs.
So recently I have seen in the market, we have AliExpress and Temu and so many Shein and all those apps, and they have a lot of Chinese pens under the name of Jinhao and
Wing Sun.
Wing Sun, Hong Son, and so many, Yairan, and so many, and they look exactly like, as we're talking about the Lamy replica. They look exactly like the Parker 51. They have multiple, whichever pen is popular, they have the same version of them in Jinhao and the other range. So have you used those pens, and what's your opinion about those pens?
Okay. Yes, I do own a couple of Jinhaos. I think they're a lot more successful as pens if they've made it themselves. If they're trying to copy somebody else, another company, whichever one you want, I don't always think that they get the same writing experience from the pens. So yes, it might look like a Parker 51, it probably writes nicely, but unless you actually see how it writes with a Parker 51, you might not know the difference.
Correct.
And unfortunately, I have a Parker 51, so
you know. So because even if you make that feed the same, even if you make the ink same, the flow and everything will always depend on
it will be different.
The experience of that person, right?
Yes.
Writing.
So funny enough, one of my first fountain pens after the Lamy All-Star, that orange one, burnt orange, was a Jinhao.
Okay.
And I think it was
900
X750
okay.
or 9.
Yeah.
Or I can't remember exactly which one. And as a pen, it was writes very nicely. I was quite happy with it. I cannot fault it, but it was their own design. They weren't trying to copy somebody else's design.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of pens which are looks like Sailor, which looks like Pilot,
and I'm sure they probably. I have seen that people say that they write fine.
Yes.
Okay, but they're also not comparing it to the original.
Yeah, because if you compare the price range, Sailor pen is not affordable at all.
For most people, I do agree.
People, yes.
And personally, I don't see the appeal.
Okay.
I've got nicer pens that cost me less.
Okay.
And that are not. They don't feel cheap. They don't feel like I've wasted my money.
Amongst all the 200 plus pens that you own, which is your cheapest pen that you have paid very less money, and which is your most expensive pen that you have?
Right. On the cheapest pen, that's easy. I use Platinum Preppies quite often. Those are in the 100, 150 Rand range. And yes, you are correct. I do have a Visconti, Homo sapiens. However, I picked it up at a significant discount.
Okay.
So yes, if you have to go on and buy them,
it's $1,000, I think.
Yeah, you're looking at like $1,000 and plus, depending. That is not what I paid.
Okay.
I happen to. My view on fountain pens is yes, they are lovely. Yes, they are beautiful. Yes, they might write fantastically well. I'm not prepared to spend that much money on a pen, especially not if I want to use it. So they are. I mean, I think I've seen what was it? A Platinum 3776 in sterling silver that costs in the region of 100,000 Rand.
Oh,
And I'm thinking, no, that's not for me. Thank you very much. That's a little bit too much money for me.
so if the same pen that you were talking about, I have never seen this pen, but if it comes at discount of 20,000, 25,000 are you going to invest your money into it?
Still no, because again, it's still my limit for the cost of a pen is about. I'm not prepared to go spending more than about 10, and then even at that price, I'm going to think not once, not twice. I'm going to think 100 times about buying it, and there has to be something really special and unique for me to want to buy that. So there are beautiful Pilot Makai pens with Urushi and
yes.
look absolutely stunning.
Correct. But you're not going to buy.
I will not buy it because I want to be able to use my pen. I want to be able to stick it in my bag, put it in my pen roll, stick it in my bag and go.
Not think about getting it lost or getting it stolen.
Or not have to panic and think about, worry about
where is it? Where is it?
Yes, because that's a lot of money to just happen to forget somewhere.
Okay.
And lose.
So when you go and travel, what's your upper limit of buying inks and pen, or do you have a standard budget of every month that you're going to buy this much into your hobby?
No, I do not. I will not spend. I do not buy something every month.
Okay.
No, I will often save up for 2 or 3 months to buy something I really would like.
Okay. It's kind of a wish list that you have.
Yes, but by the same token, I do not keep adding to that wish list.
Okay.
Okay, it's not like it's an ever-growing list that I keep wanting to buy. No, if anything, the list is short. I bought these 3.
This is Heritage 92.
No, they call them Pilot Heritage
okay.
limited editions, and I love the color. I love the.
Wow.
I love the colors of them. I love how they
Look.
The way that
Marble and
marbling effect on the pens. I love them, but I do not. So these were on my wish list for a long time before I bought them.
And how much are these?
Thankfully, through Fountain Stationers, I got it on their discounts. They so I think they were like 4,000 rand or something each.
Yes, very nice.
It's still,
price. Yeah.
but I mean, I did not buy them at their full price. I bought them at a discount.
Yeah, that makes sense. So basically, you are kind of a fountain pen enthusiast as well as fountain pen deal hunter.
I'm sorry, we have to be.
Correct.
We can't
always keep on investing in this particular thing. So on that one, I have a last question as well. So what are your thoughts about passing this hobby or this legacy of fountain pens that you have collected over the years to future generations? Or what's your idea behind collecting so many fountain pens and then keeping them in mint condition as possible?
Well, okay. Yes, I do. You're correct. I do like to keep my pens in mint condition. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I want to be able to use my pens. Okay, so I do not mind a little bit of usage, wear and tear, especially on the nibs, because I know they're being loved, they're being used.
Correct.
I do not want them being purposefully damaged and scratched, and hence the pen rolls. And because of the way they are built, the way they are made, they will often, and we have pens what are available today are not always available 10 years time.
Correct. The generations of pen keeps changing as well.
Yeah, let's go back to my Lamy All Stars. Every year there's a new edition that comes out, and it's only available in that year.
And sometimes it never comes in South Africa as well.
Correct. And then if you want to at any point in time resell it, the value of it becomes a lot higher because it's a limited edition. It's not, you cannot get it again. There might be something similar. There might be similar make or similar design, similar color, but never exactly that one.
Correct.
So from that side of things, I happen to think that writing and using a fountain pen to write is a very
divine experience.
I don't know about divine per se, but very meditative. There's a lot of thought.
It brings you a lot of relaxation.
There's a lot of thought that has to go into writing down. Yes, I do write
fast,
scribble notes, and especially at work. But I find that writing helps me get my thoughts on paper, helps me think clearly about what needs to be done, when and how. And it's something that doing it on a digital format,
with Apple Pencil and all those pencils,
doesn't quite have the same effect.
Okay.
And I think if I can pass on the idea of a something special and unique as opposed to common everyday, I will happily do that. And I mean, I've got these notebooks available, or you can keep for a long time. You can always refer back to them. I can see, okay, 2 years ago, this is the pen I was using, this is the ink, this is what I thought of it. What do I think of it now? Has my opinion changed? Do I want something different?
Correct. And now, based on the number of inks that you also have, like you all must be having 30 ml, 50 ml kind of bottles. So
I actually try and go for 15.
15 mls. Okay. So is it available across all the ranges? No.
No, sadly no.
Then how do you procure them?
Again, part of my travels to Malaysia, I happened to get 15 ml Pilot Shizuku bottles, where in South Africa they weren't even available yet.
Yeah. Now it's available at the Sandton Stationery Print. I have seen they have a range of I think
couple of them,
21. I think in total they have different colors.
Yeah.
So you can get them, but the price is always on the higher side for
the quantity,
for the 15 ml. Yes. If you consider that you are buying 30 ml or 60 ml, the price is a little bit cheaper. But then if you don't like the color, it's a waste.
There we go. And you're correct in that respect. Your big bottles of ink, your Faber-Castell bottles, you got an 80 ml bottle of ink.
In our lifetime, we're never going to finish it.
I'm currently sitting with more ink than I think I can use in my life.
Correct.
Even if I had to write every single day,
it's difficult. Yeah. And you always not like the same color every day. You have to change. That's the fun of fountain pens.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I do. Unlike other people, I do not empty an ink pen out to ink it up. Okay. I will use it till it's finished. But like you saw, it took me 2 years to finish a
single cartridge.
A single cartridge, and admittedly, it wasn't used every day, but it was used often enough.
And do you ink up a number of pens every month, or how do you plan? Or you only like one ink, one person, one ink, one pen, one month?
Okay, for me, my system is a little bit different.
Okay.
I will ink up a pen and I will use it until it's finished. Okay. And at that point in time, I will clean the pen out, thoroughly clean it. Often it involves a soak in water, no dishwashing liquid. Maybe if it's very stubborn ink, then with specialized pen wash.
Or is there a specialized pen wash as well, other than water? Okay. So where do you get it? Right Gear, I think, have it.
They have had, but I haven't seen in a while. You mentioned Right Spoke. They had, and I don't see it there anymore.
Okay.
Currently, the only place I know that does have is Cult Pens in the UK.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas, for answering all the 8 pen questions and a lot more than that.
8? More like 80.
Correct. I think we have, this is the most candid conversation we had on the fountain pens and the whole history and geography and anatomy of fountain pens as well. So thank you very much for showing. And then
you're welcome.
And I hope you are using your own Paizley pen rolls to keep all these pens secure and
every time, all the time.
and all the best. And I'm looking forward to what you're going to buy next.
Thank you.
Thanks
so
a lot.
Actually.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aashish.